you doing? It's D-Lo, and I'm showing you my DK healer for CWC for new players. Anyone who's starting out, this would be the build for you. One of the sets might be difficult to obtain, but the other one should be a breeze to get. Okay, let's get right into it. For the stabs, I'm using a retro destro. With the destro, I'm using a Maelstrom ice staff. You don't have to be a Maelstrom ice staff. It can be any kind of destro staff, just as long as it has powered on it. I'm using the master retro staff, Dragonknight. You could also use infuse and put a damaging glyph on that to bump up your damage and your healing power. So you never know, it will always help you out. For the sets, I'm using spell power cure. Spell power cure, you get max mag, spell damage, and when you heal a friendly target, you increase the damage and weapon damage and spell damage by 246. It could go up higher, but this build is not really mid-max. I usually just had this build to level up my Undaunted quicker, just to get into the queues faster, so I can do dungeons. The second set is Sanctuary for the extra healing. So you could increase people's healing by 12%. It doesn't matter what color your gear is for Sanctuary, because you still get that flat 12% increase on people's healing received in your group up to 11 people. So for the traits, I have Divines, Infuse, Divines, and this one's supposed to be Divines. It's sturdy, but didn't have time to switch it up, so I got Infuse on the chest and Divines on the head. Divines is to pump up the Munda Stone that I have. The Munda Stone I'm using is the Atronach for extra recovery. The glyphs on the rings and necklace is Magicka recovery. You could go 2 reduced cost and 1 Magicka recovery, or 1 reduced cost and 2 Magicka recovery, whatever works for you. But make sure you don't have the spell power cure as the rings and necklaces. That is difficult to obtain, so I would recommend having Sanctuary on the jewelry and then have the body pieces as spell power cure. But of course you have 2 pieces of Sanctuary on the body. I have 3, so that it still works out though. And you don't have to use a master's retro staff. You can just use a regular retro staff if you want. Just make sure it's Narenhone or powered, because power gives you the extra healing done, and that's always useful. Let's get into the moves. The moves I'm using is Healing Springs, Mutagen, Combat Prayer, Exiguous Shields, Inner Light, and Light's Champion. For Healing Springs, it's good for sustain. That's why I went with this more other than the other one. You get 338 Magicka back for every friendly target that you heal. And for Mutagen, I use the Mutagen morph because of the burst heal for when they fall below 20%, because as a DK you don't have a burst heal like that, too good of a burst heal, and it also removes one harmful effect, so it's good to have this. And for combat prayer, it makes them more tankier, give them minor resolve and minor ward. It also gives them minor berserk, so it boosts up their damage as well. Unless they're a Night Blade and they use Grim Focus, that's the only reason it won't buff up their damage. For Exinius shields, I use it to mitigate some damage, and for extra healing, because you gain major mending for 3 seconds, which is increases your healing done by 25%. For Inner Light, we use this on the bar for max mag and our crit, so you can put up our spell crit by 2,000, that much, so you can get the extra crit heals, because we are in all light armor. And for the champion, Light's a champion, it's a good ultimate to use you get it in the retro staff. So I use this so you can bump up people's damage by extra critical damage done by 15%, and it reduces people's damage taken by 30%, which is a huge margin. Always helps out. And the less damage they take, the better it is to heal them. On the back bar, the Destro staff, I'm using energy orbs for extra healing and better sustain for the group members, for either Magicka or Stam, whichever is bigger of their pool. And it also heals, which is really helpful. And I use Elemental Jane for sustain for myself and all the magic users. So you just put this on them and they get minor Magicka still, and it causes you and your allies to restore 300 Magicka every second that you damage them. So that's why we have entropy on our bar as well, because the damage is a damage over time, and every second it should be damaging them. Well, I guess it says 6 seconds, so but you still will get more sustain with this. For cauterize, this is what I use for like another burst heal, but I can't control it, so I just put it up and it just does its own little thing. Sometimes it heals people and I just don't know it helps out with a little extra heal. For this move, I'm using it to mitigate damage, so my survivability is up for extra resistance for 20 seconds, and it gives you a little baby shield, so that helps out too. And for the ultimate on this bar, I'm using Aggressive Warhorn to increase the max mag, max stam, and health, and increases crit damage done for 9 seconds. And that's about all for the moves. And if you don't have Aggressive Warhorn, then you could use Dragonknight standard. You could try using Leap, but I don't really recommend it. But I do recommend Magma armor. It makes you more tankier, so you can pick up someone. So that's always useful for worst case scenarios. For make sure you have all the retro staff passives too. especially this one, because you gain major mending as well for completing a fully charged heavy attack. So when you fully charge heavy attack, you should get major mending. But you also get major mending from the shields. So if you need a heavy attack, just make sure you keep these shields up, and then do that, and then you get heavy attack. You should keep everybody healed. Enough time for you to do at least one. And also another way to get a heavy attack in is to use your ult. You should be able to get 2 heavy attacks in, and then it's finished. Enough time for you to recover your stamina, your magicka if you run out. For champion points, I have 40 into Warlord for breaking free, 10 into Bastion focus, 30 into tenacity, 100 into Arcanist, but you could take some out of here and put it into here because the skirmish, the soft cap on here won't. The more you put into here, the less you gain from it. So it's not worth putting it in here rather than just putting it into tenacity. You can I put some into Shadow Ward for blocking and tumbling for roll dodging. I put 100 into Bless, 90 into Elfborn, and Elemental Expert 40. None into these trees. I put 35 to Ironclad for. You could put more into here so you could not get one-shotted by. Even though it's a one-shot mechanic, so sometimes there's not a way to get out of that. I put 30 into Thick Skin, 45 into Elemental and Hardy, and 75 to Bastion to improve our shields. So, see my stats. Okay, oh I forgot. Make sure you have the Astronaut. This will go up a little bit more if I have one more Divines. Oh yeah, for the race I am a High Elf. Increase magicka recovery by 9%, match mag for 10%, and increase our elemental damage by 4%. But I do recommend being either a High Elf, Argonian, or a Breton for the best healing classes. You could use any other race, but it won't be as good as High Elf, Argonian, and Breton. And if you were to see my stats, it will be 35 max mag, 2,800 recovery, 17,000 health, 9 stam, and if I do this fully buff, here it is. Oh, with the healing bonus too. That should be plenty enough for healing too. Alright, now I'll show clips.
Where are you?
watching. If you have any questions, just put it in the comment section and I'll get to it as soon as I can. See you later.